Cynthia. You eventually met up with Kenya after the cookie lady ambush, right?
I ended up having dinner at Kenya's house. Can I say a prayer really quick?
Yes, I was going to ask you.
I hope Brooklyn's saying. Dear Lord,
Pardon me for smelling like asphalt, honey, as my good friend threw me way under the bus last week, but we're going to get to all of that, Lord Jesus.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You are not talking to the Lord. Okay, we're going to scratch that. Go ahead.
You know, we talked about it, but we didn't talk for a while right after the cookie disaster because I was really pissed off.
Yeah.
I was pissed off, because she brought the lady in the first place, which I just thought was just wrong. I do not think she would have appreciated that had it
Why
been
did
done
the
to her.
lady even accept?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why would she even accept it? But anyway, and then I also was pissed off because Kenya knows that when we met this lady, when she gave us this information, she was in a great space with Tanya.
So you know your boy, Paul?
Yes. Tanya's husband.
So it was only when she wasn't in a great space, she tried to take that information and make it seem, you know, worse than what it was.
Yeah.
And I felt like
That was
she
whack.
tried to play me in the middle of that because I didn't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
I could care less. They seem happy, I'm happy for them. And even after she told me that information, Tanya and Paul, I did nothing to go say, hey, come on over to Lake Bailey. Come on over to the Bailey Q. Let's keep this thing going. No. And I felt like she really tried to make it seem like we brought this lady to the meeting
No
and
French.
we decided we were going to do this, and that was not the case. And Kenya knows good and goddamn well that is the situation, and so does the cookie lady who told you at the meeting. Because the first thing I said, and let's be very clear.
Very clear.
All this shit is getting ready to go down. Cookie lady, did I know you were coming here today? What did her mouth say?
Nope.
Cookie lady, do I have anything to do with this? What did she say?
Nope.
Have I ever at any point circled back, asked you anything about this whole conversation? What did she say?
No, but I'm gorgeous.
She did say she was gorgeous.
What did you think of that?
Which she's a very nice looking lady.
She's a very pretty lady.
Right.
Look, her thing with Tanya, you know, that's their thing. I'm not trying to be in the middle of it. Don't try to make it seem like because you pissed off at this girl now, all of a sudden, you know, you getting ready to bring me into it. That's not cool.
So Cynthia seems to believe that you threw her under the bus. Why do you think she took it that way?
Cynthia was irritated with me, not because I brought the cookie lady. She was irritated because she didn't want to seem as though she had anything to do with it. So she wanted to stay looking as though her hands were clean, when in fact she did have some cookie dough on it. Just say it. The cookie dough that was on Cynthia's hands was the fact that she invited this cookie lady to my event. So if she wasn't trying to be messy, why did you invite the lady? So stop trying to make me seem like I'm a villain and I was, you know, poking at Tanya. Right. I don't know Tanya like that. I don't care about Tanya's relationship like that. And quite honestly, listen, I had never had any intent to tell her. The woman came on national TV and said what she had to say. So at some point she would find out.
She was gonna find out.
She was gonna find out.
But you can't put it on Kenya.
Right. How is that on me? If I was trying to blow this thing out of the water, I would have invited the cookie lady to come to my own event. But I didn't. Cynthia did.
Kenya claims that you invited the cookie lady to some of your cast events.
Yes.
Please break down the cookie lady situation.
So people come up to us all the time. They're sliding their DMs, emails. Everybody's got tea on everybody. So
all the time.
All the time. And trust me, I got enough tea to give everybody in the world tea. And I don't ever engage or really bring it to the forefront
Unless you
because I
need
kind
to.
of think it's like messy. Honestly, at the time, Tanya wasn't really on the show like that. So I was like, this is not even like, usually like you have to be a peach holder for us to even go into your personal life.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well that's cool tea, but like, why is she telling us? And at the time, we were getting ready to have Brooklyn's party. So I was like, well, you need to come to the party and tell Tanya. Totally just like a shady moment like we do, no different than when we were at Old Lady Gang and Sincerely shows up and says what she needs to say, which was positivity. I was like, okay, but if you wanted to say something, take an opportunity to say it to Tanya. Again, I didn't think a big deal of it at the time. I was like, okay, so, but if you really want to say something, then just let's put it on the table and see where we can go with it.
Did you end up formally inviting her to Kenya's party?
No, it was always just like a throw-in.
A throwaway.
Like,
That's
oh
what I
yeah,
thought.
well you need to come to the
Yeah.
party. It was never like, hey, let
Here's
me
the
go
invitation.
home and send you an evite. Just like in the moment, like, oh well, you need to be at the party and tell Tanya.
And how do you know it's even true?
You
lot
don't.
of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I didn't know,
That's
she was
a
trying
good
to give some
point.
of my cookies away.
How do you know it's true? Like, how do we know?
I still don't know it's true.
How do we know?
I know
like,
what she
they
said,
most
but-
likely were in the same place at the same time, and they could have very well met. I understand that he had some friends with him, so they might have been in.
Absolutely.
But how do we know that that is even actually true? Even though the lady said
don't.
it, because Marlo said things.
All
that
I
are
know is she said what she
completely false.
said. It is what it is. I mean, we talk about cookies and wine, and that's it.
I want to hear just a little bit about the advice that you gave Cynthia when she came back from LA.
What are your thoughts on like infidelity, and especially going into a marriage with somebody who is being super transparent about it? Like,
Yes, that's tough. You asked me about once a cheater, always a cheater. Yes. No, here's the thing. When I say once a cheater, always a cheater, that is information I've gotten from other men. It has nothing to do with me. So if I'm saying that to one of my girlfriends, and I said this at the table in Toronto, that is the information I get from other men. Clearly they're men, they know what they do.
People say once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't really necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's all about who you're with, first of all, and all about like timing.
She should go to counseling, because if you can find out why, that's half the battle. Because if you can find out why, he can address why he cheated, and then it'll be corrected in the future. And that's what the ultimate goal is for him to stop.
On her, right?
He didn't cheat on Cynthia,
Oh, okay.
but he cheated on his last 2 wives. And I don't know about his girlfriends.
First of all, if he was doing that much, then he's probably tired and has all the shit out of his system at this point. So the man probably just wanted to just sit down and relax at this point with my ass. So, but with that said, I think that, I appreciate him just, owning who he is.
And he's been very honest about it, which is also what I told her, is that it's a good thing that he's been honest about that part too. But if I were her, the only way to stop that behavior from continuing is that they identify why he did. And then that's when the healing can begin and he can stop the behavior of cheating.
My sit down with Nene was very anticipated. So, of course, I had a little bit of anxiety. I was really happy to just do it already because I really wanted to have the conversation. My goal and objective that day for me was to get closure, even if it was my own personal closure and we couldn't get like joint closure.
Hi there.
Hi, welcome.
This is nice.
Well, thank you.
So, this is interesting. Our lives have changed.
Oh, yeah. I kept saying to myself, like, try not to yell, and don't yell, try to listen, So I was trying to listen. And then she kind of gets like she was with Marlo, like she was like amping up.
Then I actually, saw you saying things about me that I didn't like. I'm not interested in going back and forth with you about like who did what. We both said some horrible things about each other. I think we can both agree on that, right?
Well,
we did.
And I was like, now, who you think you amping up to? Like, what in the hell is wrong with you?
You're like, don't come for her, girl.
Yeah, I wasn't coming for her. She was being very, passive aggressive when she was talking to me. And I was like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, for real?
Wow.
And she said something like, I can't remember her exact words, but something like you just, talk about your friends when you're not friends with them anymore. Something like that.
When you get mad at your friends, you're the first one to try to tear them down.
Really?
Really?
And I was looking at that thinking to myself, that is so hilarious because I purposely didn't talk about her because I knew that she would do it. That's how I could say, without question, she did all of the interviews and I did none. I finally did one radio interview and that's all they could show is me in that red dress doing the radio interview. They could show 10 of Cynthia's interviews. I never did anything.
When did you have to walk out? Then you said it was a moment.
I did. I walked out. We had did the whole little banter like back and forth and she was, doing her little passive aggressive thing. And I was like, let me get up and leave out of here before this thing get real crazy. And I just got up and went out.
In the parking lot, the conversation continued.
You told me it was emotional too.
It was very emotional. It was.
You don't give a about me. They were very hurtful to me because I just wasn't anywhere saying I don't give a about you. You a toxic friend. I feel like you wanted people to think I was this bad person or this horrible friend. And I want to be a good friend, you know. I'm not trying to be a bad friend.
That conversation went on for a long time. And there was tears. You know, she walked out of the Bailey Wine Cellar. I went and got her. Yep, she cried. She cried.
So her emotions were available for Bailey.
I mean, I don't know if they were tears of like, I love you and I miss you, or tears of, I'm just not going to apologize and take accountability. Because Nene and I could have had drinks, a grown woman conversation, and really moved past our issue.
I agree.
She was upset with me. My friend was upset with me. We could have sat and talked about it. I was more than happy to accept any accountability for hurting her or whatever it is she felt I had done to her. She would take accountability for anything that she had, you know, done or said to hurt my feelings, and take accountability for any of her actions, but that didn't happen.
No, but I think when you have a sisterhood and a friendship the way you had with Nene, and then you feel hurt by that person in your core, it's not so easy to say, let bygones be bygones.
Right.
Like, you have to put the shit on the table.
Right.
And the thing is that you don't really want to, because it's going to bring up so much. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where you guys are. You kind of want to like sweep it and move on, but you can't move on until you unpack the luggage.
Right. Well, I really feel like I didn't really sweep anything. I felt like I said what I needed to say, you know.
Do you think that like you finally got there, or do you still need to have said another conversation?
I
Like,
feel
did that
like I
happen?
got there. I felt like I got there. I felt like at the end, I don't recall getting an apology in the end, and I don't really recall her taking any real accountability. I mean, she had a laundry list of the things that she felt like I did to hurt her, and anything that I, you know, said, well, this hurt my feelings, she didn't really seem to get it.
Nene is not a super duper like emotionally available person. And some people are just like that. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of friends that are like that. Even think about when Greg ended up going back into the hospital, and then the day the closet situation happened.
Don't go. What happened?
It was her trying to figure out how to deal with her emotions.
Right. I know that
And
about
you accept
her.
that about her, but
Exactly.
it's hard to try to make up with that.
Right. But see, that has nothing to do with us. Like, all I can do is accept accountability for what I do,
Yeah.
and say what I was wrong, and say I'm sorry and I apologize. And if that's not good enough, then now it's not kind of on me.
Do you still think of Nene as a toxic friend?
Well, I think that I don't want to use the word toxic.
Girl, please don't use that word again.
No, because I don't want to describe anything as toxic.
I think saying I'm a toxic friend was hurtful.
That just really bothered me, that she would call me a toxic friend when I've been a very good friend to her. And I just thought that was not the language to use. Like, even though our friendship had dissolved, I never thought of her as a toxic friend. And I hadn't done anything to her. I feel like as a toxic friend, like I needed to have done something to her. I'm just trying to figure out where did the toxic come in at, because we're both independent. You know, we get together because we want to get together. You know, it's not like I said, get your ass over here, you know? So I just thought using the word toxic, I really thought she was trying to really defame me as a friend. The toxic was just the wrong word to use.
What do you think, Marlo, of that? Where do you think Cynthia is coming from with that?
I don't know what the toxic, because I was trying to get with that also, because I'm thinking like, Nene, do you be asking the girl for money? Like, do you call and bug her? Like, do you, I mean, like, I don't know. It's like, I kind of wish I was a fly on the wall to see, when I was around them, it all just seemed like they were lovey-dovey, best friends.
I think that, you know, when you're angry at people, you know, you say a lot of things in anger. I'm not angry anymore. I've accepted where I am with Nene. So there's no reason for me to throw those kind of words out there about our past friendship and where we are right now.
What do you think of Cynthia?
Cynthia is a sweet person. I will say that. But Cynthia this season, I actually got to see the other side. All the seasons, you've always seen the model, the pretty soft girl. All the years of being Nene's friend, I never knew that side of her. And I will say, I miss that.
The pretty soft girl.
I mean, that's what you've always seen until this season. That we've seen. You know the real Cynthia. I didn't know that. So this season now, when you're looking, it's like, whoa, like, you're mean. You have a mean side, which everyone does. But I will say I do miss the softer side of Cynthia.
A lot of times when you see someone that's really talkative and they ain't gonna bust a grape, you know what I'm saying? And it's always the person that's quiet and sitting back that's doing the most, but people don't really see it like that. And so I thought with our friendship that people always saw me as the one that's doing the most, and I'm not doing
This
okay?
is the
And I said,
meanest-
Cynthia does a lot that you don't know about. And I said, and she says a lot that you don't know about. Actually, one day I remember talking to her on the phone in the car with my husband. I had my phone on speaker. And she was like, this, that. And my husband was like, who is that? And I said, that's Cynthia. He said, Cynthia curses? And I was like, that's so crazy. I said, why would you even say that? I said, she curses more than anybody would curse.
I will say.
I mean, and I think that people just think that she doesn't do that. And they will put it on me.
Yeah.
You know what? These girls read the comments. I read the comments sometimes. And I think when people have watched us over the years, they said that Cynthia was my lapdog and they felt like I was not a good friend to her for whatever reason, however they see it on the show. And I think she just bought into that and used words that she knew that the fans would be like, that's right, you know? So I felt like she just kind of like just did that.
Here's the thing, Nene is a straight hater. So, you know what I mean? I believe that Cynthia has gotten beaten up so much on this show for appearing to be weak and appearing to be this and appearing to be that. But what I can say is she's a very strong person. And even before the Bailey Bowl, and I called her, and people didn't hear this conversation because it wasn't actually on the show, but she cursed me out. Like, not using curse words, it's like how we say, snapped on me. And that happens a lot. But for me, I don't take it to heart because sometimes you can just have a bad day or just something could be going on. I'd probably do it to her at some point. She doesn't hold my feet to the fire for it. But I think that Nene worked so hard to make people believe that Cynthia is this horrible person. That's what Nene was counting on, is to turn everyone against Cynthia. If Cynthia did talk about her, it was well deserved.
So Nene, you hosted that brunch.
Even though I didn't see everybody, but everybody came to my leopard brunch.
Let's talk about the leopard party. I don't know, what does she call it? The jungle brunch or the
I forgot about that.
animal brunch or something?
We call it the animal party.
I think it's a jungle brunch. No, it was some animal something.
Animal party, whatever we're calling it. This is something that you've been doing for a while?
Yes, it is. It's a leopard brunch. It's for entrepreneurial women that are like-minded to all come together and lift each other, support each other, level up together, exchange business ideas, become business partners, you know, all of those things. And everybody shows up in some sort of leopard.
She sent out a really cool invitation for it. It's a whole rhyme.
Oh, it says something about
Lying on each
Lying
other.
on each other, something, maybe even a cheetah.
Yeah, it was like, come on, because y'all be lying on each other, so something else. I don't know. I just felt like, girl, why are you even saying anything shady in your invite? It should be, hi, girls, come to my brunch. It's going to be good food and good drinks.
Yes.
When it came to, like, calling us a liar, I was like, that's not the thing to do to get us to come.
You weren't sure what you were walking into, but it was witty. It was witty.
Shady. Literally, only Eva is the one
We had
who
had a
talked
meeting.
to her.
We had had an apology
you had
meeting.
Had
Yeah,
a
that was
meeting with her.
That was good.
I didn't know she was going to the lunch until I saw the picture online.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Yes.
you went and had lunch with the enemy.
Yes.
I had gotten no wind that Nene was working on herself and feeling any remorse from the past reunion. Because you have to remember, that's why I was still upset, because I'm literally from the past reunion texting each other, cursing each other out, to now I'm in her face. So I didn't know anything about that. I have not had any conversation with her at all, and now she's invited me to this animal brunch with a shady invite. I don't want to go.
Right.
So when we were in the car on the way to the animal party, we were on the phone with Porsha, and Porsha is explaining how she does not with Nene, and she will not be at this animal party, which is crazy because she
And then she went.
totally went. But that's a whole nother story.
Porsha, I'm really glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you
I'm
as
happy
well.
that you're here.
You were happy to see Porsha, it sounded like.
Yeah, I was happy to see her there.
How was your relationship with Porsha at this point?
We had been around each other and had laughed a few times. And actually, we had been in Canada together, and she actually was holding me from, killing Kenya. So, we've been around each other a few times. We had not had our talk yet, but we had been around each other.
So why did you go?
I went because I talked to my mom that day. And I had gone to work. I did not bring an animal print outfit because I was like, I'm not going. And my mom was like, Porsha, at the end of the day, if she has invited you, that's a small olive branch, and you should at least just go to see what she has to say.
Yeah.
You're a big bad bitch now. You got it. You can say and do what you want. Anything she throws at you, you can handle. Go and at least see what she has to say. Yeah. She's like, you're not the old Porsha. You can speak up for yourself. So go and see what she wants. And if it's good, you're going to be glad that you went.
She's so wise.
And so I went because my mom said so.
Eva, tell us what happened at the brunch Nene hosted. You guys didn't actually end up making it.
Okay, so at this point, I have already gone into preterm labor. I am at risk for labor. I am kind of on bed rest-ish.
But
I
not
am
resting.
bored, and I am just
Not
bored.
resting, not sitting her ass
I'm
down
pregnant,
somewhere.
I'm sober, I am over it. And so you, thank God, Nene invited me to this party, and we all decided to go. But I talk to you every day, and you have been going through this pregnancy with me every day. So
Yes.
you don't even realize that I'm having contractions.
No, you try to play it off at first. Do this. What you need? Can you get us a little high? Can somebody help Eva out?
I gotta use the bathroom.
And
You
then all
had
hell
no
broke
clue, and
loose.
then I couldn't hold it anymore. So I hopped out of the car to run to the bathroom because I have learned.
Because you always have to go to the bathroom and you always
Yes.
want ice, right?
Yes, and I have learned in this preterm labor that sometimes your contractions means your bladder's full.
Right.
So
You gotta go
empty your
pee-pee.
bladder first.
Right.
So I went to go empty my bladder, hoping that would stop the contractions. And girl, after I used the bathroom, they
Yeah,
became
worse.
worse.
No,
and
I
I couldn't
remember.
even leave. Like it was.
So at one point you were almost resistant to going to the hospital. Why was that? Tell me about that.
So you have to remember, this has been a complicated pregnancy for me. It wasn't like Marley, where I was running on the canyon, up to 9 months, and here's the baby. Maverick has started having complications at 31 weeks. Remember, when I came back from Toronto, and I went and I realized that, I am in preterm labor, and this
Right.
baby is trying to come out.
Right.
I got put on medicine to try to keep the baby in. So for me, at this point, I just want to do all that I can do to keep everything calm and to make sure this baby does not come yet.
Right. And I know you did not want to have the baby early.
I
You
didn't
were,
want to have the
trying
baby
to keep
early,
the baby
so-
in as long as possible.
And I've been contracting for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Every day. So I'm feeling like if I just calm down and just breathe for a while, then everything will chill. But it just wouldn't. The contractions wouldn't stop. They were coming and they were faster.
Right.
And they were harder and stronger. And then went to the hospital and
Yeah,
I
I
was
remember.
3 centimeters dilated.
Yeah.
Wait, she's 1.5 minutes. How many you gotta be for the baby to come out?
You gotta be at least.
So this baby may not come tonight.
And I went the day before and I was no centimeters dilated.
No, it was crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, you almost became a mom because I almost had your baby there.
Yeah.
The doctor told you. Dr. Jackie told you and Kandi, either get to the hospital yesterday
Or be prepared to deliver
or
the
deliver
baby.
the baby now.
Tell Eva to get to the hospital.
She said she don't want to go to the hospital. but
Okay,
need
well
to go.
tell her I can talk you through how to deliver her baby.
No, we're not talking
Deliver
me
the
how
baby,
to. No,
huh?
I'm not delivering.
Because the baby is about to fall out.
When she decides that she does not want to get in an ambulance and she wants me to drive her to the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Oh, yeah.
I'm not the fastest driver. I think most of the girls in the group can pretty much tell you that I drive slow. I drive like an old lady. But
You never
in any
need to be a
case,
driver.
I ended up driving Eva to the hospital, who basically the whole way was screaming, crying. I was trying to make small talk. I was like, so,
You were trying to turn on the radio and talk about my
what do you
baby
think
shower.
about, the baby shower? I don't want to talk about my baby shower. I don't want to talk about that.
I'm not ready to have the baby. We don't even have a nursery.
I was like, okay, we
The
want to talk about
baby's
the
coming
baby shower.
out. Like, why are we talking about a baby shower?
Yeah, it was. I really thought. Honestly, I thought I
the
was
baby was
going.
gonna come out.
I thought I was going to have to pull over and deliver your
I
baby.
thought the baby was gonna come out too.
Yeah, I think that was another bonding moment in our friendship as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like once I had pretty much wrapped my head around the fact that I was going to deliver
This baby.
Maverick.